His fingers brushed across my thigh, steady and familiar, the way he always did when he wanted to draw me closer. The bedroom was dim. Only the soft amber glow from the lamp lit our faces. I felt his breath against my neck, warm and restless. His lips grazing my skin like he was trying to stake his claim all over again. My body wanted to lean into him, to surrender like I once did without hesitation. But my mind screamed at me to resist. Froze. My chest hammered, not from desire, but from the weight of the secret I carried. A truth so sharp that his touch felt both tender and poisonous. Because he didn't know that I had already discovered him. I had already seen what he thought he had hidden. And as his lips traveled down my shoulder that night, all I could picture was his face when he believed I wasn't watching. The same face he wore with the woman next door. And not just her friend too. Before I pull you further into this, let me pause. If you're listening now, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. What I'm about to tell you will leave you shaken because even now when I think back I can barely believe it happened to me. So let me start at the beginning, before the lies, before the secret that I still carry. The quiet before the storm. I live in a small American suburb, the kind where lawns are neatly trimmed, mailboxes are lined like little soldiers, and neighbors smile as they water their flowers. I married young, and for years I believed I had everything a woman could ask for. Stability, comfort, and a husband who seemed loyal. We had our routines. Sunday mornings filled with pancakes, movie nights with popcorn, long summer evenings on the porch swing. He was the kind of man people admired. "You're so lucky," they would tell me. And for the longest time I believed them. Then came the new neighbor. She moved in 2 houses down. A young woman, maybe in her 20s, with laughter that floated across the street. Her hair always bouncing, her shorts always cut a little too high, her tank tops revealing more than they hid. First I dismissed it. She was just another new face adjusting to suburban life. But then I noticed how often she found excuses to show up. Her mailbox suddenly broke. She needed tools late at night. Sometimes she knocked on our door without any real reason, smiling too long at my husband as if I wasn't standing right there. And then came her friend. Quieter, softer, but with a sweetness that made people lean in. Together they were trouble. Always giggling, always whispering, always too comfortable around him. At first I laughed it off, told myself I was being ridiculous. After all, he had been faithful for years. Why would he risk it for them? But my gut whispered otherwise. The signs came slowly. He began working late more often. When I asked, he muttered excuses about deadlines. Yet sometimes his shirt carried faint traces of perfume, scents I didn't wear. His phone, once left on the counter, was now glued to his pocket, face down, locked with a code. I'd catch him grinning at messages, tapping quickly, only to shut it off when I walked in. I still said nothing. I wanted to trust him. I wanted to trust us. But the cracks were spreading, and once they appear, you can't ignore them. One summer afternoon, our neighborhood hosted a barbecue. Families gathered, kids raced around, laughter carried through the yards. The neighbor arrived in a sundress so short it could barely pass for clothing. Her friend trailed behind in oversized sunglasses, even though the sun was already sinking. I watched from a distance as they hovered near my husband. Their touches lingered, their whispers too close, their laughter too sweet. And he laughed back. His eyes alight in a way I hadn't seen in years. Not the weary chuckle he gave me at night, but the kind of laugh a man gives when he feels alive. That night, lying beside him, I felt lonelier than I ever had before. And still I said nothing. Silence was my only weapon. But silence wasn't enough. I needed to know. One evening, I told him I was staying overnight at my sister's. He kissed me on the forehead, wished me a good time. I packed a bag, drove a few blocks, then circled back quietly, slipping into the shadows like a stranger in my own life. Hours passed until his car pulled into her driveway. My heart stopped. Through the thin curtains of her living room, I saw shapes moving, laughter too close to be innocent. And then I saw it, him not just with her but with both of them. That night, I didn't confront him. I didn't scream. I just walked away carrying the truth like a burning coal. The next morning, he stood in the kitchen making breakfast, smiling like the man I once loved. He kissed me as though nothing had changed. And that's when I realized. He thought he was safe. He thought his secret was untouched. But now I had one of my own. After that, everything shifted. For him, life went on as usual. For me, every smile was tainted, every touch poisoned. I pretended, but inside, I was a stranger watching my marriage collapse in silence. I started pulling away. When he touched me, I stiffened. When he kissed me, I turned my cheek. I claimed I was tired, stressed, distracted. He noticed. "Is something wrong?" he asked. I forced a smile. "Just tired." He held my hand, but all I felt were echoes of someone else's touch. I became a quiet detective. Watching him, noting the late nights, the quick showers, the faint perfume clinging to his shirts. Each lie he told only confirmed the truth I already carried. But instead of exploding, I let him keep believing. There's a strange power in knowing a secret someone thinks is hidden. One afternoon, the neighbor strolled up to me while I trimmed roses. Shorts barely covering her, a smile too bright. "Your husband helped me fix my air conditioner last night," she said casually. I forced a smile. That's him. Always helpful. Inside I burned. Weeks later at another gathering, I watched him place a hand on her back. She leaned into it without hesitation. That single gesture told me more than words ever could. I tested him again. Told him I was staying out. Parked nearby and waited. Just as before, he pulled into her driveway. I crept close, peered through the curtains, and there they were. Him and both women, laughter and touches no longer deniable. Proof, not suspicion. Betrayal raw and undeniable. When he came home the next morning, he kissed my cheek, asked if I slept well, smiled like nothing was wrong. Smiled back. He had no idea I had been there. No idea I had seen. In the days that followed, he carried on as if nothing had changed. Joking, touching, pretending. But for me, every gesture was hollow. Every kiss tasted of their lips, not mine. He thought he was hiding, but I already knew. And with every lie, my silence grew stronger. I played the perfect wife. Cooking, folding laundry, laughing at his stories. I let him believe he was clever. All the while I carried the truth. Every time he kissed me, I thought of them. Every time he smiled, I remembered their laughter. And he never suspected.